Fred Williams, Excel Prime. We're going to use the M rounds. We're going to use the M round to measure a whole bunch of different numbers and why some work and some do not. Here we have M round anatomy, and it says round a number to a specified number. The number that should be rounded, B5, and the significance. We have random numbers from -4 to 4. A random positive number into the measured number won't work. The other way around is a positive measurement and a negative number won't work in this particular example. M round rounds up. Keep that in mind. Over here, very long narrative. It's up to you to review it. I'm going to do my best to try to explain this in simple terms. Here, all we're doing is looking to see if we can round this thing up based on the multiple. The easiest way to look at this, if it's valid, in other words, we're going to need positive, positive, or negative, negative. The other way, it won't work. We're rounding up. The multiple is 2. Here, we have 3.41. 2 goes into 3.1, or 3.41, 1.7 times. What number would make this a perfect number? It would be 4. 4 divided by 2 is 2. That's the multiple. Because we're rounding up, we get this 4. Go down here, -0.63, and we have a multiple of -3. Divide 20.63 by 3, and we have 6.88, positive. Round it up. What's the number going to be? 7. 7 times 3 is 21. -3, 21. You see that? This would be your quasi-multiple. Round it up, and then multiply it times your multiple, and guess what? That's your outcome. That's what M round is measuring, the multiple. Here we have negative and positive. M round won't round that. If you were to try to figure out how to round it up, you're going to have to round this down. Negatives, you round down. Positive, you round up. Here, we have a big old number, 8544. What's its multiple? What number divided by 3 would equate to a rounded number? Here, it's 28.48. 29? So 29 times 3, and it's saying 84. Now keep in mind here, be careful. All right? Be careful. If this number is below 9.5, it's rounding down. Be very careful. Here, we're rounding up. 38.12, -4 is going to be, you're going to round this up and say 40. -40 divided by 4 is going to be, here's your answer, 40. Now here's an example right here. -9.94. We have a multiple of -4. What's the outcome? As I said, anything below 2.5, it's going to round here. It has to round up. It's rounding up here with a negative number. Otherwise, it would round down. Let me see if I can find another example. Here, we have a multiple of 1, so it's going to be itself. Let's see, no, still too small of a number. Negative. I want to find a positive greater than 1. Here, we have 53.8. We have a multiple of 4. What happens here? As I said, you have this number, 13.45 is less than 13.5. We have to use 13 as this multiple, and then multiply the multiple times 13. And 13 times 4 is 52. Here, we have 1. That's just not a very good example. We have 9. Last but not least, here we have 10.41. We have 3.47. Notice that this multiple is 9 because 3.47 is less than that 3.5. We're not rounding this to another number. We're just going to go to 9. That's its closest multiple. 7.97, 3188. The outcome is 32. To go 4 times, round that up, 8. Negative 3 times 3. Because you can't roll this number up because it's less than 3.5. We got to push this number down because it's less than 3.5. When that happens, our outcome is negative 9. Read this. There's just a lot of narrative here and a lot of things you can do with this MROUND. This is more or less a review. I know you're shaking your head going, is this really necessary? Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. If it's not, move on to the next tutorial. Brad Williams, Excel Primed.